international economic order, international political order, all are managed by Western countries. The World Bank, the IMF, the decision-making process completely controlled by the US, the G7 in particular. So Global South has no presence in the decision-making process. The Global South countries, they came up with the idea of the new international economic order back in 1974. At that time, it got overwhelming majority votes in the General Assembly, but because of the opposition of the G7 countries, it could not be implemented.
Bangladesh possibility to actually influence the human rights agenda globally today as a member of the Human Rights Council is quite strong. And we are also depending on having good collaboration with the countries all over the world, including Bangladesh, to discuss how these human rights issues affect us, whether it's globally or in our internal interests or in our own countries, the way we conduct ourselves. And I do believe that, the whole discussion about economic influence and all of that is an important and big discussion, and I don't claim to master it at all. So my focus is human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. And I think when it comes to how that plays out in each and every country is also very much in control of each and every country's government. So it's not expensive to not torture people, for example.
If we can figure out clearly, only then perhaps we can talk about the human rights and national security. So more often we see that human rights are sacrificed for national security. In that case, neither is achieved. So we need both. We need human rights. We need to ensure our security. But the governments more often actually go the other way. In the name of security, they become very tough, intolerant about human rights. Perhaps they are the enemies of open society.
When we say open society, I believe that there must be an open government. Otherwise, it will be imbalanced. So if we talk, I talk about my country, maybe I am not sure whether we have both of these, open society and open government, but I am sure that after 5th August, we have open voices. And I will believe that I am enjoying this, we all are enjoying this, and I believe that these open voices will redefine the idea of human rights in the developing world. Especially, I believe that Bangladesh will have an opportunity to redefine the idea of human rights and the practice of human rights in the developed world as well. And it will set an example in near future.
When the new regime, we are believing towards approaching the open societies. Now, what would be the view of the Swiss, for example, if this happened in your country? So, would you allow that overthrown regime to participate in the new reform process, or what would be your actually neutral position in this situation? So Bangladesh is taking a different view. Many people, they don't want to get them included again because they are thrown. So now, do they have right to participate in the new selection process? So what would be your perspective in this situation?
We had very interesting discussion also about safeguarding the question of youth factor. That came very close to Bangladesh context, but we didn't discuss much, in fact, I don't know. But that could have been an interesting topic, that the youth, that the very dynamic role they played at one time in July, however, it seems that this is fizzled out. What is that, whether the ambassador had again kind of anything to talk about that could have been an investigation. So I think on the opponent also eventually could talk about the media role of media. That's an interesting question, that if you in open society, unless you have the kind of freedom of expression, and media is in fact the bastion of freedom of expression. So that should also be ensured for kind of ensuring security.